Everyone has a path that leads them to where they call home. This podcast is about that journey from wilderness to home. Welcome to my new podcast called Wilderness to Home. My name is Lindelien, and I am a nurse turned real estate agent living in the greater Salt Lake area. Before we talk about homes, markets, or life in Utah, you should probably know who you're listening to. I could present you a resume, but that's boring. So instead of a long bio, I'm going to start this podcast with something really simple. 5 things you need to know about me, because how I see housing, work, and life here shapes everything we're going to talk about on Wilderness to Home. So let's start with number 1. Number 1, you should know that I've been a real estate agent for about 6 years in September. Through that time, I worked through some interesting markets. I've seen fast COVID markets. I've seen slow markets, high interest rates, low interest rates, emotional markets, confusing transactions. I've worked with all types of clientele, first-time homebuyers, people downsizing, people upsizing, relocations, for sale by owner, off-market deals, death, divorce, all of the good stuff in real estate. What that's taught me is that real estate is rarely about the houses. I don't consider this a job that I do for houses. I do this for people, and people need to consider timing, stress, family, money, big life transitions. This perspective is a huge part of why I wanted to start this podcast to talk about housing in a way that actually reflects real life. Thing number 2 you should know about me is that I used to be a nurse, and I still kind of am one. Before real estate, I was a nurse. I've held a nursing license for 20 years, and that still shows up in how I work. Because nursing teaches you and trains you how to stay calm when things are messy or intense, how to advocate for people, and how to explain complicated information in a way that's easy to understand. As a nurse, I felt like it was my honor and privilege to take care of people physically. Now, as a real estate agent, it's my honor to take care of people financially and sometimes emotionally. I don't practice full-time anymore, but I still dabble occasionally, and I think that background keeps me very grounded. I'm very aware that when someone is buying or selling a home, they're usually carrying a lot, and my job is to make things clearer and lighter, not heavier. So the third thing you should know about me is that I'm a mom to 4 kids, and if I'm working for you, that is my reason why. Time matters to me, stability matters to me, doing things right the first time matters. I do not take it lightly, the trust that someone might place in me, because I know what it's like to balance work, family, financing, and everything else that life throws at you. So when I talk about housing or affordability or long-term decisions on this podcast, it's always through that lens. How does this actually affect people and families? The 4th thing that you should know about me is that I was not born in Utah, but I did grow up here. I left a couple of times, once for college, once for a job, lived in other places, and then somewhat against my own will, ended up back here. I think that's really important to say out loud, because not everyone who lives here is a lifelong Utah super fan. I've had to relearn this place as an adult, its pace, its culture, its growth, and its challenges, and coming back has given me a different perspective. I understand the pull to leave and also the reasons people stay or come back. So the 5th thing you should know about me is that I am learning, sometimes slowly, that the wilderness is worth it. Utah is changing. The greater Salt Lake area is growing. Housing is more complicated than it used to be, but the access to nature, space, and the beauty around here is really something special and makes all the struggle worth it. So this podcast, Wilderness to Home, is about that balance. How do we live full lives here? How do we make smart housing decisions without losing what makes this place feel like home in the first place? So those are the 5 things you need to know about me. If we were in a consultation, I'd ask you for 5 things I need to know about you. And 5 things is something that I will come back to. I really like clarity. So about the market, about Utah life, buying and selling, clarity matters. If you're living in Utah, moving here, or just trying to understand what's happening in the greater Salt Lake area, you're in the right place. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you on the next episode.